Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. I am your host, Harrison Graham. Video number 2 on the day. Perfect reason to subscribe to the channel because we continue to bring you videos on a daily basis, sometimes more than one. All right, we've got some roster news to break down, plus a Bears player called out a 49ers player, so stay tuned for that. But let's get to the news here. Mike Pennel re-signs to the active roster as at the time, and I didn't really think it through all the way, when they cut him and then brought him back to the practice squad, I was like, this is weird timing right before week 1. But then I remembered, shout out Courtney Cronin of ESPN, that this is a classic roster move, salary cap maneuver is the phrase I'm looking for, because if you sign someone after week 1, the contract's not fully guaranteed. So say they cut Pennel later in the year, saves yourself financially. Mike Pennel is a veteran who's not, in a place where he can try to be like, oh, you're going to cut me, I'm going to go sign elsewhere. It's not like a bunch of teams are knocking on the door. So that was a little maneuver to kind of save yourself with the salary cap for the Bears. So not surprised to see him back in the fold now that week 1 has come and gone. So you look at the defensive line group now, and this is how it sits. And obviously through one game, you're feeling pretty good if you are a Chicago Bears fan up to this point in time. And obviously Mike Pennel is now in that rotation. He was elevated from the practice squad for the season opener against San Francisco. Once we saw that, I was like, yeah, they're probably going to bring him back on the active roster anyway. There were a couple of other roster moves made by the Bears. We'll get to those in a second. But first, it's Packers Hate Week. Bears, Packers, Sunday Night Football, Week 2. We're going to be live, have a watch party. If you hate the Packers, you know what to do. Type FGB in the comments section. Plus, get your T-shirts. Get your FGB T-shirts. I told my bosses we would sell 100 of these before this week. We've sold 94 since we've launched them. 6 more people need to buy them for Sunday Night Football. Let's get them sold. Chatsports.com/FGB. Plus, play the Bears play the Packers again later in the year. You can rep it then as well. Get your shirt today. Chatsports.com/FGB. It's chatsports.com/FGB. Some other roster news. Aaron Wilson had the tweet here of Mike Pennel. Also, Lachavious Simmons cut and from the practice squad, and the Bears have signed Andre Anthony and Michael Niese to the practice squad. Poor Lachavious Simmons. The guy gets cut on his birthday. Tough business. Type HBD in the chat for Lachavious Simmons, but that experiment appears to have come to a close. He was a Ryan Pace guy from a few years ago, and now he hits the door. A couple of guys added to the practice squad after Pennel gets activated and Simmons gets cut. Andre Anthony, 4-year player at LSU, had some sack production in college. He's kind of a tweener linebacker, defensive end guy, about 6'4", 250. I'll be curious to see if he's someone they can develop. He was a 7th-round pick for the Buccaneers during this past draft. Michael Niese, undrafted, but was signed by the Broncos. He didn't make their roster, though. He gets added to the practice squad. And I think you're going to see a lot of this on the practice squad in the Ryan Poles era, especially with offensive linemen. 6'5", 295 out of Temple was Michael Niese. They're going to experiment with offensive linemen and see if they can develop a couple, because Ryan Poles is an offensive line guy. The Bears' offensive line is still a unit that needs to improve over the next few years. So I think you're going to see some shuffling on the practice squad. Simmons goes, Niese comes in. We'll see what he is able to do. Whether it's big news, small news, medium news, whatever, if it's news around the Bears, we're going to have you covered with the video here on this channel. So hit that big red button and subscribe today. The latest Bears news and rumors coming at you here on a daily basis. Plus, we'll be live tomorrow as well, as always, every Tuesday, 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central Time. Hit that sub button. Join the movement here at Chicago Bears Now. All right, let's get to the juicy part of the show. Jaylon Johnson calls out Trey Lance after the Bears win over the 49ers, and a little of this was taken out of context, and I'll kind of outline that as we split up these quotes here. I'll get to the first one and react to it here. Jaylon Johnson, when asked about Trey Lance, he says, "What do you think he did? He ain't do shit. We made him play quarterback. We knew he hurt us in the run game with his feet, and everybody knows at some point he's going to run and make a play, but I feel like we had to make him play quarterback." Now, I will say this. I thought Trey Lance made a couple of nice throws early, hit the slot fade over Kyler Gordon to Juwan Jennings, made a couple nice throws, but Jaylon Johnson makes a a good point. The key to slowing the Niners down, especially in the weather conditions, was force Lance to throw the football. I made that one of my keys to victory earlier last week when we did our Bears-Niners previews, that you have to make Trey Lance sit in the pocket and deliver the football, and he could not do that consistently enough. Now, some of that's due to the weather, but he's still a young player with not a lot of playing experience. We know he's a good runner. Jaylon Johnson said, hey, we forced him to throw. He wasn't able to do it consistently enough. Now, Johnson added this as well, so kind of the headline part of the quote of he ain't do shit is what's caught, trending on social media, but he added this. He said, like I said, he's still a young guy, and I think he'll end up being a good player for them, but it's early. He has to go through it. I feel like we did exactly what I said we would, make him prove himself as a quarterback. I'll tell you this Bears defense has confidence. It has swagger. Jaylon Johnson talking about how the hits principles won this football game as well. Hey, the peanut punch, that was a huge play by him on Deebo Samuel in this game, but this team's got its swagger back. They're walking with the hop in their step, and that's very, very nice to see for the Chicago Bears. Jaylon Johnson in year 3 emerging as kind of a leader for this football team and for this defense. You love to see it. Thought he played well in week 1, and hey, you can talk a little bit when you win these games. Grade the Bears defense against San Francisco, A, B, C, D, or F. I'd give it a solid B+, A-. 2 takeaways, some red zone stops, forcing the field goal early in the second half was huge. If you get down 14-0 instead of 10-0, that's a big difference. So to get that stop was key. The peanut punch, Eddie Jackson's pick, I thought it was a good performance. B+, A-. Really solid first effort for Matt Eberflus's defense. Speaking of Flus, he praised the rookie class that Ryan Poles has put together because 4 of these rooks contributed in a pretty major way in this matchup against San Francisco this past Sunday. Here's what Eberflus had to say. He said, they all played well, and that's really a tribute to Ryan Poles and his staff, bringing in guys that have the maturity to handle an NFL game and the coaches to get them ready. We talked about Dominique Robinson earlier today during our Bears winners and losers video, and he played really, really well. He had a couple of 1.5 sacks, 7 tackles as well. All 4 rookies really, really contributed, not just Robinson. I thought the rookies showed out in a major, major way. Jaquan Brisker played really well. Kyler Gordon, he contributed. Braxton Jones held up at left tackle. Then Dominique Robinson, who was probably the best rookie in this matchup, was really, really good. I was impressed. Flus is impressed. Shout out Ryan Poles for bringing in some quality players. Now, who was the rookie MVP from week 1? What do you guys think? Type DR for Dominique Robinson, type KG for Kyler Gordon, type JB for Jaquan Brisker, or type BJ for Braxton Jones. Let us know in the comments, rookie MVP from week 1. All right, hit that subscribe button here on Chicago Bears Now. That's going to do it for this video. We'll be back tomorrow with our live show, like I said. If there's breaking news before then, we'll be sure to hit you guys with a video as well. I'm Harrison Graham. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. So long, and bear down.